So it is finally here. The new 2021 ROG Zephyrus G15 now comes with the new chassis and updated hardware for high performance productivity work as well as gaming. So in this video, I shall go through with you why I think this is one of the best gaming laptop options in the market. Last year, ROG released a highly sought-after laptop, the Zephyrus G15. It was so popular due to its brand new chassis design and people has been asking for a 15-inch variant of it. ROG kept their cool and waited until this year, and here it is, the Zephyrus G15 with AMD Ryzen 9 5900HS and NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3080 laptop. The key highlight of this chassis is the lid, whereby ROG calls it the dot matrix with prismatic gleam. Okay, let's just put aside all those marketing bits. The perforations on this lid is actually CNC milled, and I believe there are over 8,000 perforations over here. This dot matrix design was first designed to support the Zephyrus G14's anime matrix display. Nasi Lemak has collaborated with ROG in the making of the tutorial video, so do check it out if you happen to miss it. Now, since the G15 will not be getting the anime matrix display feature, ROG has put a layer of prismatic film that gleams from underneath when you look at it from a certain angle. So does it actually improve your gaming performance? Well, I don't think so, but at least you can lose the game with style. Pew 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 pew. Now before I forget, there are also another color option, which is Moonlight White, while this one is Eclipse Grey. In terms of outlook, I think this is really looking nice for the Zephyrus G15. As for the side, if you can look at the ergo lift hinge over here, now this ergo lift is designed so that you can actually slightly push up the keyboard angle, so for a better typing ergonomics and cooling. However, I think ROG need to redesign the ergo lift, because in order to have it lift up the laptop, you will need to push it over a certain angle, which is a little bit too extreme for normal viewing. When it comes to connectivity and ports, the Zephyrus G15 is Wi-Fi 6 ready, and there are plenty of physical ports options on it. On the right side, you will get a USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type A port and a micro SD card reader. Meanwhile, on the left hand side is a little bit busy, where you get the barrel charging port, a full-size HDMI port, Ethernet port, a USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type A port, two USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type C port that also supports power delivery 3.0, which is 100 watt PD, and as well as a 3.5mm audio combo jack. That is a lot of stuff. The display is one of the reasons why this year's G15 is so enticing for gamers. This panel comes at 1440p resolution and supports 165Hz refresh rate. I think that strikes the perfect balance between higher resolution and refresh rate. So for a 15.6-inch display, it looks amazing. For the details are looking very sharp. And because of the 100% DCI-P 3-color gamut coverage, you can also use it for content creation purposes, given if you color calibrate it first. Now, most importantly, you can now enjoy crisp details in game while still be able to enjoy that smooth viewing experience with adaptive sync support. Right now, most of the gaming laptops out there in the market sports a 1080p panel with slightly different refresh rates depending on the price segment you're getting into. It can be 60Hz and up to 300Hz. Honestly speaking, I think they have gone a little bit out of control, especially with the introduction of 4K 120Hz panel on a laptop. Do you need 300Hz? Can you tell the difference between 240Hz and 300Hz? Does 4K make sense on a laptop? In future? Maybe yes in the future, but not now, especially when some of the AAA titles can still choke the GPU at lower resolution. So you can just pretty much forget about 4K. Now, if you have watched my other laptop reviews, I usually don't talk about laptop speakers. For me, laptop speakers are just there for convenient purposes. That's it. But there are times when brands manage to pull something off, like this G15. They have pretty good set of speakers. I said set is because there are a total of 6 speakers on this laptop. 2 tweeters firing upwards at the side of the keyboard, and there are another 4 woofers under the palm rest, just to give you that great sound experience. The keyboard has an excellent layout and the keys feels pretty good to type on. The power button is located separate from the keyboard, which is at the top of it, and it also has a built-in fingerprint scanner. The trackpad is really good for Windows machine. Initially I worried because of the sheer size of it, palm rejection can be a problem, but turns out none of those has any issues with the actual user experience. So, good job ROG. So, after we talk about everything of the laptop chassis, keyboards and everything, here's the raw performance. The Ryzen 9 4900HS is absolutely amazing. It destroys Intel for anything that requires CPU computation horsepower from there. So combined with the RTX 30 series graphics, you have pretty much the best combination for gaming and as well as productivity work. However, I do need to talk about the 100W TGP RTX 3080. Now, ROG has decided to put this 100W RTX 3080 into this laptop. You see, RTX 3080 laptop can go up to 150W, just like the XG Mobile, given if you have the thermal headroom. In this case, I understand why the G15 chassis can be a restrictive factor, so that they have to use a 100W option. Now, here is some of the problems. On paper, it sounds really great. It's a 3080, brother. 3080 is better than 3070. But what about the actual gaming performance? We compare it with 2 different laptops we previously reviewed. They have 2 different TGP as well. RTX 3070 with 115W as well as 95W. So our test has conducted on the 1080p resolution. Unsurprisingly, the 100W RTX 3080 is like juggling between the 2 RTX 3070s. Depending on which game, sometimes it can be as powerful as the 115W 3070, and sometimes it just barely hold on to the 95W 3070. Well, it is especially obvious in modern RT games such as Control and Cyberpunk 2077. Meanwhile, if we shift our focus to the 1440p resolution, generally if you game on the display's native resolution, you can expect roughly 15% drop in frame rates compared to the 1080p resolution. But with that, in return, you are getting a way crispier image quality. So still, I would game on 1440p simply because of the slightly better detail quality on there. Now, with all those hardwares inside, like I mentioned, why they choose the 100W RTX 3080 because of the cooling performance and everything. This year, ROG has mentioned they are extending the liquid metal support to AMD as well. Now, I do say that luckily they are using liquid metal because the CPU on this device can reach up to 98 degrees at load. Now, previously I have not really encountered this kind of temperature, especially on a AMD CPU, but I believe the newer generation of AMD CPUs is getting slightly hotter. Maybe they are pushing their limit right now. But the good thing is that they managed to keep the GPU at 80 degrees Celsius, which is a really good thermal headroom over there. And that makes me wonder, does it really matter if they choose the 100W TGP 3080, or might as well they just go for slightly higher TDP for the GPU because they still got the thermal headroom over there. As for the upgradability, now if you manage to open up the bottom chassis of this laptop, you will actually gain access to 1 SODIMM slot and 2 M.2 slots. So why only one single RAM slot, you ask? Now here's the reason. ROG has actually soldered another stick of the RAM onto the motherboard. So in other words, if you are purchasing this laptop, initially you will have the option to choose whether to have a 8GB of soldered RAM or 16GB of soldered RAM. In our case right here, because we got a 32 gigs option right here, that means we got a 16 gigs of soldered RAM as well as another 16 gigs of extra stick of RAM at the slot there. Meanwhile, for the M.2 slot, one of the slot is preoccupied with the system drive, and you will have another slot available for you to upgrade in the future. As for the battery, this G15 actually comes with 19 Wh battery. In our test case, we actually use it for web browsing and video streaming. It actually managed to last for about 6 hours or so, which is pretty impressive. To conclude our review of the ROG Zephyrus G15, who is this laptop made for? Now, before we go into that part, I must talk about the price. The G15 actually comes in 3 different configurations, and the price starts from 6,999 ringgit and up to 11,499 ringgit Malaysia. So the model we have here, which is the highest end model, this is the one that costs 11,000 ringgit Malaysia. If you were ask me which one is the perfect balance between the performance and the price, I would say the middle spec, the one that is priced at 8,499 ringgit Malaysia with RTX 3070 100W TGP, that is the perfect model for the G15 if you plan to get it. Because number one, you save 3,000 ringgit, simply downgrade from RTX 3080 to RTX 3070, which I believe the performance difference will not be that much of a difference. And you save 3,000 ringgit, you can get yourself some really good monitor, gaming keyboard and mouse, plenty of other stuff. So lastly, who is this laptop for? If you are looking for a laptop that has perfectly balanced out of everything, number one, good design, portable, good performance, and basically everything you want it, the G15 should be able to satisfy all your needs. But if you just want raw performance, you want the highest performance possible out of the hardware, then perhaps you need to look at other laptops such as the ROG Strix Scar series. That one will sacrifice a little bit on the size of the laptop. That one is slightly heavy, slightly thicker, but what you get is the higher performance GPU that comes in the laptop. This one is more like for those who want to get a selfie, a clean design laptop that they can bring it to work, and then when they bring it back to home, and then they can use it for their gaming purposes. And I guess that is also the reason why ROG has included 2 different charging bricks in the package. So the high power ones for you to leave it at home for gaming use, and the small one you can bring it inside your bag so you can bring it out to work. And yeah, so that pretty much concludes our review of the new ROG Zephyrus G15. Do let us know what do you guys think about this laptop. Leave all your comments down in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.